Last week, I got the Mint Disc Alpha, and for the past week, I've been throwing this disc, and I honestly have no idea why this disc has zero hype around it, because it's honestly one of the best discs I've ever thrown. Now, the Alpha has the flight numbers of 8402, which makes it that of a very similar Innova Thunderbird. The Innova Thunderbird is a 9502, so it's just gonna go a little bit further with that notch up of speed and glide. This is Mint Discs Apex plastic, which is that of a very similar Innova Star plastic or Discraft ESP plastic. And just right away, when you hold this in your hand, it's gummy, it's not slick, it's not sticky though, but it's just got that like smooth finish to it like the Star plastic, and you can hold on to this thing and release it at the right time every single throw. Okay, but now it's time for the fun part. How does this disc actually fly in the field? Well, as you'll see from these field clips, it flies literally how I want it to. It's so true to its numbers, and honestly, you can really manipulate the disc if you have any type of angle control in your game. Now on Anhyzer, it holds its line with a nice consistent little fade to it at the end, so it's gonna come out of that Anhyzer line. If you throw it flat, you have to put a little bit of power behind it because then it'll ride flat for a little bit, but then it'll always have that consistent fade. And then on Hyzer, it's gonna do just that. It's gonna fade. Not like a Captain's Raptor or like a Firebird or anything like that, but this disc fades hard if you throw it on Hyzer. Now, it wouldn't be fair for me to take this disc to the course for just one round, throw it 4 or 5 times in that one round and call it the best disc ever. So I didn't do that. Instead, what I did is I've taken this to the course with me and I've thrown it about 4 or 5 times in the 5 or 6 rounds that I've played over the past week. And I've also taken it to the field with me, and I can confidently say I've thrown this disc well over 100 times. Now, in an open field, I think any disc is really easy to throw and you can truly make it the best disc in the world. So how does this actually fare on the course? Well, in some of those rounds that I mentioned, I actually recorded me throwing this Alpha disc because I wanted to show you how and when and where that you would be throwing this disc on a course. So here's what I got.
So before we get started, I split these clips up into 3 separate segments. I first start off throwing the Alpha on flat, then I go into a Anhyzer / flex line release, and then I go into that Hyzer release. And I really wanted to focus on more of the flat release because I think that is where the Alpha is just in its prime. That's where I feel like the Alpha is best, is when you throw it flat, because when you throw it flat, it's gonna ride dead straight for a really long time, and then right at the end, it is going to always have that consistent fade that you really want whenever you're throwing it a backhand or forehand or whatever. So let's go ahead and get right into these clips. Right here, it is just a 320-foot dead straight, and then you want that little fade at the end, like I said, and that is exactly what you get, and that is probably about 20 feet from the hole. Now on this one, I posted this just the other day in my YouTube shorts. This was a little ace run that I had, and I just went right above the basket. But again, it was just thrown dead flat, and I threw it a little bit high, and it faded on me right at the end like I wanted to. This one was just a really bad release. I hung on to it for a little bit long, but as you can see, it was dead flat, and it gave me that fade at the end. Same thing goes here. This one I was, in between Hyzer and flat, but this one was parked, and all of these are really good, and I'm getting my birdies from them. Another dead straight flat release, and you're just getting that consistent fade. You can always rely on the fade of this Alpha disc. So that is one thing that you will never need to worry about is it going to fade on me? Is it not going to fade on me? Et cetera, et cetera. So these are all really good throws. Yes, they're all highlights. There's no lowlights, but I really don't feel like I had any lowlights with this disc. I feel like it was just so good every time that I threw it. And we're about to get into the flex line of the flex line Anhyzer shots. And whenever I threw a flex line Anhyzer shot, I always got so lucky. And I have no idea why it is, or maybe it's just this disc or the way I got bounces or the way I'm throwing it. I have no idea. But anytime I throw a flex line with this disc, I get so lucky. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So this one right here wasn't more of a flex line. It was more of a late release, but it still pushed left and it still finished right. So it was still a really good throw, and I consider it kind of a flex line shot. Now this shot is what I'm talking about when this disc gets so lucky. First of all, I take the local route here, and I'm gonna keep getting that push left. I hit a stump and I slide right on the mulch, and I am 2 feet. No, I'm literally 6 inches away from the basket. That's what I'm talking about when this thing holds its line, but comes out of it and I get super lucky with it. Now this throw right here was my only quote unquote bad throw. It was a couple feet away from actually being really good. If it got around the left of this tree and faded out back to the right, it was gonna be right at the hole because I know this disc is gonna fade out. Now this one right here, I posted on my shorts, and as you see, I hit this little stump. I get a nice little kick left, and I'm just parked right next to the basket. So then a couple days later, I came and I did the same exact thing, same exact route, same exact line, and I did this same exact thing. So this disc is just super good at holding its line. It's what it does on the flex line, of course, and it always comes out of the flex line. Now moving into these Hyzer clips, I don't really have much to show just because I don't throw that many forehand Hyzers. This one was really good, another park job right here, and I'm obviously highlighting this disc, so I want to show it in the best light possible. This is a spike Hyzer here on about a 310-foot hole. I go up and over these trees, and I leave myself about 30 feet short, 35 feet short. The tassels were just in front, so I actually gave myself a nice little step putt look and made that. And then this is what happens when you put a lot of power behind this disc. You're gonna get a little wobbly release, but it's always gonna come back out on that consistent fade. I think that's really just the moral of the story, of the moral of this disc. It is always going to fade on you. It's always gonna come out of that line. I am very curious though, you know, whenever I beat this disc in, is it going to hold the line even more and then slowly fade out? That's something that I'll be looking forward to seeing, and hopefully that isn't the case.
So I can confidently say that this is the best disc I've ever thrown. It's my favorite fairway driver, and it is my favorite disc in my bag. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I really hope it was insightful, and maybe it even encouraged you to buy yourself an Mint Discs Alpha as well. Thank you so much for the recent support between all the likes on the shorts, all the likes on the videos, and especially all the recent subscribers. Welcome to the Mando fam. If you really liked the video, like it, subscribe for more content just like this, and I'll see y'all in the next one.